So Tell the Truth, which I thought was a great screen name, wrote in and asked me about, hey, I heard about eating right for your blood type. What do you think about this? And this is actually a diet that's been around for a long time. We used to use it with clients and we would actually see good results using this diet that would adjust foods according to a person's blood type. But in this video, I'm going to help you understand why those clients saw some results, and I'm also going to help you understand why we don't do this anymore. Let's jump in.
T.C. Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
So the research behind this blood type diet was not super impressive, and there wasn't a lot of great things behind it, but it kind of had some interesting facts within it that kind of helped it work a little bit. And the idea is that foods contain lectins, which are these types of proteins, and depending on your blood type, specific foods would be good for you and others would not be good for you. And the idea was that, you know, it's almost like these foods have a protein type identity to them. And if you were a blood type O, then this type of food with these lectins would be appropriate, and these types of foods with these lectins would not be appropriate. We really like looking at a person as a unique individual instead of treating them according to a symptom or some kind of condition or something like that. So this was really attractive to us, and when we used it, we would see some good results. So here's why we don't use it anymore. Here's what happens. When we eat food, our stomachs make hydrochloric acid, or HCl. And this HCl is meant to help us acidify that food so we can start breaking it down correctly. And then once that acidic product leaves the stomach, it goes into the duodenum, which is the first 10 inches of the small intestine. And that's when the gallbladder will squirt this alkaline bile down onto that acidic product. So what happens is this acidic product meeting an alkaline bile product, these opposite pHs, when they collide, it creates a sizzle. And this sizzle is like this chemical reaction that helps us really bust that food apart and pull all the nutrients out of that food. It's like mixing baking soda and vinegar. You get that kind of fizzy craziness going on. So this sizzle is really important to allow us to get the nutrients out of the food that we're eating so that our body can use those nutrients. That's kind of why we eat food, so that the body can access the nutrients in that food. So the problem is, it's really common for someone not to be making enough stomach acid for a wide variety of reasons. And it's also really common for someone's bile to become too thick and sticky to flow correctly. So if either of those sides of digestion are not working correctly, you don't get that sizzle, you can't truly bust that food apart and break it down properly, and your body can't use the nutrients in that food. Your body is not looking for a peanut butter sandwich. Your body is looking for vitamins and minerals and amino acids and dietary fats. And that food needs to be broken down so that your body can access those elemental nutrients that it's looking for. So if someone is not making enough stomach acid, or if their bile is not flowing correctly, or if neither one is really working correctly, it's really common to see both sides malfunctioning. But if either side is not working and you're not getting that sizzle, you're not breaking that food down into those elemental nutrients, and then that food still has an identity. So the lectins within that food are going to go into the system, and then the body is going to look at this food that still has its own identity, and it's going to view it as an invader. It doesn't know what a peanut butter sandwich is. Again, it's looking for vitamins and minerals and amino acids and those types of things. It can't use a peanut butter sandwich. So if the food is not broken down properly and it goes into the system and into the bloodstream, and now the body's going to look at it as an invader, and it's going to attack this invader. It's going to like go to war against a peanut butter sandwich, and that can create a lot of inflammatory responses. It can create a lot of symptoms. It can create weight gain and a lot of other issues. So when someone's eating a food that is not being broken down properly, now the identity of that food could really create problems for this person, and maybe it doesn't create problems for this person. So now when the person adjusts the foods that they're bringing in, they can really see improvement. But what we found was that when we just help somebody fix their digestion and help them break foods down the way that it's supposed to be broken down, now those foods are broken down into elemental nutrients that the body can use. The food doesn't still have an identity, and it doesn't create all this trouble. So instead of looking at all these lists and, oh, I got to avoid this and I got to run from the hills for this and I got to only eat all of this stuff, why not just dominate the food like a human is supposed to, break it down the way that we should, and that opens up the variety of foods that we have the ability to eat. So what we like to see people do is look to see, is maybe the stomach not making enough stomach acid? Is bile maybe not flowing correctly? So to understand if you're really digesting your food correctly, my book Kick Your Fat in the Nuts, chapters 3 and 4, walk you through figuring out are there aspects of digestion that are not working correctly, and if so, what steps do I need to take to correct those? And the book is available on Amazon, but I'm going to put a link in the description below where you can get the whole thing totally for free, and that'll walk you through that process. But what you could do right now to figure out, oh, is my stomach acid a little bit too low, or maybe is bile not flowing correctly, is you can just jump over and watch our video on 10 signs of poor bile flow and our video on 10 signs of low stomach acid, and that'll give you some indication if you have some work that you need to do to correct those issues. I can't wait to hear about your results.